Hey guys, we are in July, which means we only have 6 more months left for the year. In this video, I'm going to be sharing the top 3 stocks to look at for the back end of the year. At the beginning of the year, I shared my top 3 stocks, and you can definitely watch that video and see the stocks that I mentioned. And in this video, I'm going to be looking into the 3 stocks that I believe could be good investments for you potentially for the back half of the year. So we're going to dive into the charts and we're going to go and take a look at the 3 stocks that I believe are a must have for any portfolio starting this July. Let's dive in. The first stock I highly recommend you take a look into for the month of July is Circle Internet Group. Now, this is a very interesting company mainly because it IPO'd recently, and the IPO was gangbusters. So even if you take a look over here, if we come to the year to date, the stock is up 500%. And when it came out on the IPO, it just skyrocketed like crazy. And we're going to dive into the charts to take a look. So you might be asking, what does Circle Internet Group do? Well, to keep things simple, they have infrastructure that allows money movement to be seamless. I mean, their infrastructure makes it as simple as just sending out an email. And there are a lot of companies that are using their technology and their platform. And you can see make money movement your competitive edge. You have companies like Stripe, MoneyGram, Coinbase, Standard Chartered, one of the big banks out there that are leveraging their infrastructure to move money. But the real key thing that really got me excited is that on June 30, right, an announcement came out that they applied for a national bank charter. Now, this is big news because if they are to actually get this bank charter approved, now they'll even have more tools available that they can offer their clientele. So this is definitely one company to watch out for, because a bank charter can give them even more capability that they can offer in addition to what they're already offering with their infrastructure. So let's dive into the charts and take a look and see what the current charts look like. So as you can see, not a lot of trading data is available, especially when you look at it from a weekly perspective, right? Because the stock has only been in the market for literally 5 weeks. Now, when it opened, it quickly shot up to a high around 300. And when it IPO'd at like $65, right? So massive, significant growth in a very short period of time. And then if I use my trusted retracement tool, you can see price has kind of like come down into this retracement area. Now, this is very important because the way a fib retracement works from a technical perspective is if price comes into it, it gets shot back to where it came from. So now the expectation is if we drop down to a lower time frame, we're going to see Circle Internet Group potentially come back up, right? And obviously the keyword is potentially, right? So the expectation is price goes back up. And if price is to respect this fib retracement area, which I think it is, right? You can see it's been respecting this support area for quite some time. We can potentially see price come and test this 217 level and potentially come and also test this 260 level before coming to this 300 levels. And as you know, anything that I share on my videos is all for educational content, and this is not financial advice. So if you actually do decide to take an investment in Circle Internet Group, you should do your own diligence or seek the help of a professional financial advisor. But based on the current setup, I'm really excited about this stock because I do believe that there could be potential upside given the news and given activity that's happening within the crypto space. Now, the second stock I would recommend you keep your eyes on is CoreWeave. And this is another one that just recently IPO'd and also had another significant jump. So if you can see, year to date, CoreWeave is up 300%. Now, this is exciting, and you also just need to be cautious that maybe you might see a pullback, and we're going to dive into the charts. But from a long-term approach, I think there's potential upside for this particular company. So CoreWeave is in the AI infrastructure space. So think of companies like NVIDIA, right? This is one key supplier to NVIDIA, and you're seeing NVIDIA is continuing to grow. Right now, I think they're probably the most valuable company. So as NVIDIA continues to grow, you find that companies that provide services and supply NVIDIA with things like CoreWeave are also most likely going to grow, right? So you can see some of the products that they make are really closely tied to NVIDIA, and a lot of companies use them, from OpenAI to Google, Cloudflare, Databricks. So they're really embedded within this AI space. And as AI continues to grow and scale, companies like CoreWeave that are providing the AI infrastructure are also most likely going to grow. Now, when you take a look at CoreWeave and we take a look at the chart, remember I mentioned that they saw explosive growth as a result of their IPO. And if we also just look at key retracement levels, you can see massive move to the upside. There's a potential drop where we can maybe drop to this 110, 112 area. But if we were to move to a lower time frame, like let's say a 4 hour, one of the things that you would see is that we've created some really good supply and demand areas for CoreWeave. So, for example, right here, we can see that there's a really good demand zone that price could respect. And that's actually what's happening, right? Price came down into this demand zone, moved up, came back into the demand zone, starting to move up. And if it continues to move up, you could potentially see CoreWeave come and test this supply zone that's sitting at the 180 area, will potentially come all the way back up to 190, which would represent a growth of about 12% and 25%. So there's a lot of potential growth to the upside, but if you're looking at it obviously from a long-term perspective, there is so much potential that could be unlocked as the AI space continues to grow. And last but not least is Aero Group Holdings. And this company is in the aerospace industry. And the reason why I am bullish on this stock is mainly because if you look into government spending, both from the US government and also all of the NATO allies, there is the sense that they're going to increase some of their military budgets, right? President Trump has been pushing for NATO allies to increase their military budgets to up to 5% of GDP, and drones could be a key beneficiary to that. So if you look into what Aero does, you can clearly see then advanced aerospace and defense company. And, they have multiple segments, but drones is probably their largest segment, right? You can even see with their imagery, it's all about military and defense. They're also into avionics. They also have trading and electric air mobility. So this company is really poised for potential government contracts, both domestic and international, as these companies are looking to beef up their defense budgets. This stock has been out for literally like a month. And when the stock came out, it came out at $12 and it went all the way up to set a high at 39. So pretty impressive, right? But take a look. It has now retraced, right, into that fib retracement area that we've been talking about. And what I'm going to be looking for is for the stock to actually bounce back from where it's at right now, which is around the $21 range, to potentially come back and retest this $38, $39 range. Now, if it actually does that, you're looking at a potential 84% return if the price is to come back and test, all-time highs. So it's a very interesting company that you can actually get in on the cheap when it's around $20. And over the next 4 years, while this administration is in power, you could potentially see more government contracts going to them, which could definitely drive revenue and profitability up, and you could see the stock actually go up. So that is the third stock that I'm going to be looking at, just based on the current landscape and where things are going. And it's just recently IPO'd and it's coming in at a relatively affordable price. So that's the other stock that I'm looking at. So there you have it, folks. Those are the three stocks I'm looking at. You have obviously Circle Internet Group, which is more in the crypto space. They just applied for a national bank charter. They did a successful IPO. So definitely one to keep an eye on. You also have the second stock, which is CoreWeave. And CoreWeave is really in the AI infrastructure. You see what's happening with AI. It's growing and growing. It's here to stay. We all know that. So I'm definitely keeping my eyes on CoreWeave. And then obviously number three, we have Arrow, which is a company in the defense space, really focusing on drones, avionics, and training. So, with potential increased investments in defense, this company could be a really good beneficiary for a lot of the government contracts that be up for grabs. So, I'm curious to know what stocks are you looking at for the month of July? Let me know in the comments. I'll see you guys in the next video.